Welcome back to RPMbassy. Again, this is John Taylor, and this is another one of my reviews. What I'm going to be reviewing now it's a classic. For those who don't know or know anything about the Ska two-tone label, this was a classic release, and it's the Dance Craze compilation. It's just been re-released on a deluxe edition, which I'm going to talk about in a second. But initially, what this was, Dance Craze, it was off the label Two Tone, and originally came out in 1981. And what it was a soundtrack to a film by Joe Massot. And what it is, he met Madness on tour in America, decided to do a video, just video him on tour. They're doing the Dance Craze tour, the two-tone tour. And initially he was only going to be videoing Madness. But he ended up doing the two-tone, the UK two-tone story, and recorded all the other bands. He recorded the whole tour and released it as a film called Dance Craze. Originally this came out on as a 14-track vinyl soundtrack to the film. Later incarnations of that, so you had bands like Bad Manners. I mean, you got Bad Manners, you got Madness, you got Selector, you got the Specials, two-tone, Nutty Boy Music. I think all the bands, they were all on this tour. I was too young to go on the tour. I was about, because it was recorded in 1980, the tour actually happened in 1980, so I would have been 10, and then released in 1981. Later incarnations of the album, at the original, they didn't have any of the Madness tracks on it. Why, I don't know. I suppose it's to do with they signed to another label at the particular point, and they replaced a lot of the Madness tracks with the Special AKA, which is like another version, incarnation of the Specials. But they've just released the deluxe edition. And what they've done now, you've got the original 14-track album, which is our recordings from the tour as well. But you've also got the documentary 27-track double album with it as well. So I'm just going to show you some of the bits with the unboxing here. So this is the box. Now what I like about the box itself, it's not like a box as such, but you can just put the vinyl in here. And that's great because you can still slide it into your shelf and still get access to the records, where otherwise you have to bring it out and lift the lid off. So I do like that. The artwork's really nice as well. It's it's the classic from the original release, and they put a lot of effort into it. You've almost got that shiny black on here on top of white. And you've got all the logos from the different bands. You've got Bad Man as a Beat, the Body Snatchers, Madness, Selector, Specials, and the Best of British Ska Live. Because in the early 80s, two-tone and ska was massive. So you were either new romantic or a punk, or into Madness or Shakin' Stevens. So there was these different factions at school. A lot of my friends were nutty boys, but I was a new romantic. But I was a massive fan of two-tone. You couldn't be. I mean, Madness were massive then, and you had the Specials, and you had the Selector, who I loved. So I secretly was a nutty boy in new romantic clothes. You can imagine that. On the back, you've got the track listing. So this is the film soundtrack, and like it's just got everything on it. You know, you've got the single that came out, the Specials, with Too Much Too Young. That was the live recording from here, so it's also on here as well. So you've got recordings from Portsmouth and Liverpool, Hemel Hempstead, Electric Ballroom. So he basically followed them through the whole tour, throughout and down the country, and recorded everything. And it's the first time the soundtrack for the film has actually been out in its entirety. On vinyl, whereas the original 1981 soundtrack album just had the 14 tracks on it, just selected tracks, but now you can listen to the whole thing. They've also released a DVD of Dance Craze as well, so you can actually watch as well as listen to the music as well. But this is a good addition to my collection. I didn't have this originally, but I remember my cousin had this, and she wouldn't let me listen to it. I was blown away because I've never seen it before, but now I have it. So you can keep your original copy, my cousin. I've got the box set. Inside, now remember what I was saying, if you've seen my Depeche Mode album review, one thing I was talking about was the poster, and it's good to see they're putting posters things, and hopefully kids are going to start putting posters on their walls. Well, look what we have here. We have, sorry, this is going to get in the way now. We have a poster, and what I really like about this, you're not going to see it. One side, you've got all the bands that were part of that tour, all separate. So you've got the Beat, you've got Bad Manners, Body Snatchers, Madness, Special, and Selector. And then the other side, so it's a double-sided poster, is the original artwork for the album. And that's a nice little addition to anyone's wall, and a nice addition to this box set as well. Inside, what they've done is, if anyone knows this, when you go and record, if you go to a recording studio and you have the masters, everything was on tape, especially back then. So all the information for what was on that particular tape used to be written on the outside. So you'd normally have where the studio where it was written, what the tracks were, how long they were. So this is almost like a photograph of the original tape that had the original album on it. And then on the B side, you've got the track listing and all the credits. Okay, just to let you know, the Madness tracks are back on this now. I'm not sure why they got taken off the original. I did try to do a bit of research, but I couldn't find out why. I'd assume it's because they signed to a major at the time. I think they signed to Virgin at the time. I'm not sure, but that's the original. Inside, it's just a paper sleeve. It's just a classic two-tone logo on it. And then you've got the soundtrack for the film itself. Again, they've kind of used the photograph of the original tapes on here. The back, Ampex. Ampex is a classic, just to let you know, in recording studios when you master or record stuff onto tape. Ampex was the tape brand that used to use. So this is almost like a replica of the tape box. Then you've got the credits. When you open up, you've got stills from the movie itself, from all the different bands on the tour. Again, inside you've got the vinyl. Now, I've listened to this. Really good. Really good recordings. If you think back to the single that came out that everyone knows, Too Much Too Young Special, you would think that was a studio recording, but it's actually a live recording. So whoever set this up and recorded this has done a really good job. And obviously it's been mastered again for this new release as well. So overall, I'm kind of happy with this. I think it's worth it. I think it cost me like £40 for this box set. And I do think it's worth it. Having an updated version, having the whole kind of soundtrack for the movie itself, this amazing poster, and this amazing kind of box set. It's timely as well because the passing of Terry Hall, obviously lead singer from the Specials, so something like this in such an early point of his career is really nice to have in your kind of record collection. And some of the images of him, because he would have been really young, it's just really nice to see as well. But overall, I love this. If you haven't heard it or don't know the two-tone sound, check it out. We've all heard some of the two-tone records, but check this album out. It's so good. You can feel the energy from these live versions as well. But once you see the film, these concerts were insane. Forget about your punk gigs. These concerts were just insane. Watching them, but I was too young to go, and I wish I was old enough to go and see a lot of these bands. But don't worry, we have it here. So that is the two-tone compilation, and it is the Best of British Ska Live, Dance Craze, the soundtrack to the movie. Okay, check it out. I'd love to know your thoughts on this. If you've bought this, or if you're into ska, favourite tracks, favourite recordings. If you put it in the comments below, let's start a discussion. Okay, I'll see you in the next video. Thank you very much.